Hey guys, I'm Combat Craig, and today we're talking about VA lawyers, when you can use them, and I thought I'd bring a VA lawyer, accredited attorney, on with me here, and which way are you? One way,
I
Benjamin
don't.
Krause.
Yeah, well, I don't know. My hands are backwards. Hey there. Thanks for having me on.
If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, you can go to my website at combatcraig.com. And part of that process is medical evidence. That's what you're fighting. That's what we're fighting about when it comes to VA claims and veterans benefits. So you can go to my website and contact my med team. I've had some questions from the viewers, just kind of just kind of all over the board, and the system just doesn't really make much sense, which is a separate problem. We have to deal with what we have to work with and work within the parameters. It is a game, for this portion of the game, when can I, as a veteran that wants to file a claim, use a VA lawyer? Like, can I? Let's just start with when I file the claim. Can I hire a lawyer to help me file a claim?
So I've got good news and bad news. Bad news is the answer is no. And you lost the right to hire an attorney whenever you saw fit when you took your uniform off. So if the agency may owe you money and you need to file a claim for that money, you do not have a right to hire for pay an attorney. The good news is once the agency has built a case against you without legal counsel, well, then you can hire an attorney. And so the system we have at least allows you to hire an attorney. You couldn't even hire an attorney a couple decades ago. And
What year was that anyway? Was that like 2006 or 8 or something?
well, so they created the courts in 88. And then you could hire an attorney for pay so long as you already filed your notice of disagreement with the agency. And then the next second, you could hire an attorney for pay, but not before then. And then that law changed in 2019 when they created the Appeals Modernization Act. And now you can hire an attorney so long as the agency has built a case against you and you don't like that outcome. And then you can hire an attorney, and the attorney can start advocating for you right away, which is better than zero. And so the system's been evolving over the past few decades. It's been like a monopoly for the VSO community and CVSOs, probably from the 30s until the 80s and 90s. So they've been very insulated with that system. The VA really liked that system, and as I understand it, they fought pretty hard to avoid letting attorneys in, and the VSO community also fought very hard. But ironically, most of the cases that have allowed veterans to get justice when they were really getting denied were because those veterans did have some attorneys that brought those cases. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But now, if you're an illegal immigrant, if you're a accused criminal, you can definitely hire an attorney right away. You don't have to wait. But if you're a veteran, you lost the right to hire an attorney when you took your uniform off. And at that point, you became a second-class citizen. And
Let me just stop right there. So
yeah.
I want to just make sure that I understand this.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the uniform on and signed on the dotted line, and I have less rights than people from other countries and accused criminals
In your own country, right. So
in
as
my
I
own
understand
country.
it, you have less rights than an illegal immigrant who is here illegally. Now, if that immigrant happened to join the military, well, the good news is they have as many rights as you do then, meaning they
But
lost the right to
they
hire.
don't get a double dip though. They don't get a right.
Right.
They're now a veteran, so they fall into our
They
second
fall
class
into,
bucket.
same team, right? So,
America is not as good as you think, especially if you come here to join the military. So just keep
right.
that in
Yeah.
mind.
If you're a veteran, you're going to have some problems. So
Yeah.
you're going to be put on a special list of naughty boys. And then you're not also going to be able to hire an attorney if the Department of Veterans Affairs owes you money. If the DOD owes you money, yeah, no problem. If the VA owes you money, well, no, whoa, hold the phone here. You need to hire non-attorneys to work with the VSO and CVSO community first. And, again, it's not that one is better than the other. There are different purposes for different things. The VSO community likes to argue that no veteran should be charged for work on their claim or appeal, but they fail to mention, well, actually, you can't because it's illegal. we made it so that it's illegal for you to hire an attorney or a claims agent or, any of these consultants that are out there. And that's their system and their preferred, modus operandi. But when it comes to, an appeal, at least you have an option to hire an attorney, especially for complicated cases like TBI or special monthly compensation or other mental health conditions. You can hire an attorney then. But, the VSO community, they do a lot of things that I would not want to do, even if I could take in initial cases. So, there's just a lot that goes on that I wouldn't want to do that, just doesn't make sense. So they're kind of like the H&R Block in my mind of filing taxes. If you have a complex situation, you go to a tax attorney or an accountant. But if you're a straightforward W-2 employee, go to TurboTax or H&R Block or something like that. They'll hopefully take care of you, and it's really not that big of a deal. But if you have something...
And uncomplicated is basically W-2 employee, maybe a dependent or two, something like that.
Right.
It does complicate it a little bit more, but not that much more if you're two W-2 employees married or, have a kid. But yeah, once you start bringing your own business in, anything that's out of the norm, that's a good comparison. Like if they build a case against you, that's a very specific thing you said, and this is a legal process, and that is exactly what they're doing. So it's impossible to tell how you hiring this guy, that guy, what the circumstances are, what they're dealing with personally. You just can't tell what the outcome's going to be like. So it's good for you to know as much as you possibly can and be involved in your claim as much as you can. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to just give it a shot yourself by yourself. Then you will learn a lot, if it's not too complicated.
Well, and in the, your boot camp, the Combat Craig boot camp, you talk a lot about nobody caring more about your claim than you. And that's true. It doesn't matter if you hire an attorney. It doesn't matter if you use a VSO or some other kind of way of doing it. The reality is that everyone else is busy. They have their own things going on. And at the end of the day, the person that's going to have to live with the outcome of that case is you, nobody else. Nobody else is going to, be in that position. So it's super important to make sure that you are, understanding what the case is, understanding why. You don't necessarily need to and won't be able to dictate exactly everything that an attorney does or even a VSO. But, you do want to know what's going on. You want to make sure that what you're doing has merit, things like that. The important difference between a CVSO, in my opinion, and an attorney is that CVSO or VSO, a lot of times they are government employees that have a fiduciary duty to the agency or the government that you may also be going up against. And they may be, having free rent within your regional office, right? So there's certain things you want to keep in mind about whether they're going to have a conflict or even a potential conflict that you may want to worry about. Whereas an attorney, you hire a private attorney and a claims agent for that matter, and that they have a fiduciary duty to you to do the best that they can do, not the other way around. I hear a lot of cases of veterans going to VSOs and CVSOs where they'll kind of glance at it, won't give it a lot of thought, and just tell the veteran, nah, you got to do this and that before you move forward with that. And what I've seen is that in many instances, those are cases that do have merit. It's just that the VSO or CVSO may not understand or appreciate what the evidence shows.
If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, you can go to my website at combatcraig.com. And part of that process is medical evidence. That's what you're fighting. That's what we're fighting about when it comes to VA claims and veterans benefits. So you can go to my website and contact my med team.